Christians don't know what the Latin word eternal means, and I'm not exaggerating. I repeatedly have Christians shouting at me that punishment is eternal in the Bible, and that means there are no second chances. And to a point, I agree. If God sends you away for punishment, you're going to get all you need. The problem is, most Christians don't even know what the Latin word eternal means. This is because of what is called semantic drift. Words change meaning over time. But what matters is what it meant in the Bible originally, not what it means today. If we look up eternal in an English dictionary, we read, eternal, having infinite duration, everlasting, eternal damnation. And this is actually kind of funny because this is a completely circular definition of the Latin word eternal coming from Augustine's doctrine of eternal punishment itself. Yes, endless punishment is just a doctrine, not the meaning of the Greek text. The early Greek church fathers didn't believe in endless punishment. But what I want to focus on is the meaning of the Latin word eternal, since that's how they translate our Bibles, and it would be helpful if you knew what it actually meant. So, a little history lesson. Originally, the Bible was written in Koine Greek, which is actually pronounced Kine Greek, because much like PH makes the F sound in English, Omicron iota makes the E sound in Greek, Kine Greek. But I'm getting off track. So, while the Bible was originally written in Kine Greek, it was translated into Latin by St. Jerome, who lived in the 4th and 5th century. And this is called the Latin Vulgate, and it became the most popular version of the Bible for many centuries, and its influence has trickled down through Christian history, where we see the Latin word eternal still to this day in our modern English Bibles. The problem is, even though we are borrowing the Latin word eternal for our English Bible translations today, the definition of eternal has changed significantly since Jerome first used it in the Latin Vulgate back in the 4th century. In Latin, eternal is spelled A-E-T-E-R-N-U-S, aeternus. Thankfully, I have both Latin and Greek lexicons in my possession. These scholars dedicated their lives to cataloging all these words so that we can properly understand the Bible. Per the Carlton T. Lewis Latin Dictionary, the definition of eternal is of an age, lasting, enduring, permanent, endless, in that order. With of an age being the primary meaning of the Latin word eternal, folks. And thankfully, I also have a Greek lexicon from Liddell Scott that gives us the definition of aion and aionios that was translated as eternal in Latin. Highlighted in yellow, aion means a period of existence. From the Latin avon, which is where eternal comes from, 'tis an age. Aion also means a space of time, clearly defined and marked out, an era, epoch, age, period of dispensation, this present world, aionios, lasting for an age. And it's not just the Liddell Scott lexicon that says this. Strong's Concordance, age-long, eternal. And of course, we now know eternal just means of an age. Helps word studies, age-like, NAS Concordance, age-long, eternal. Thayer's Greek lexicon, without beginning or end. Well, that's vague. But you get the idea. The primary idea behind aionios and the Latin word eternal is of an age. Now, to be fair, if the context forces the idea of endlessness, these words can connote endlessness, but they never denote endlessness, and that's an important distinction. But don't just take my word for it. Please take the time and look this up for yourself. These lexicons are available for free online. You know, I have Christians calling me a progressive, a heretic, and so on because I teach the ancient Christian understanding of universal restoration at this channel. This is not a progressive doctrine. It goes back to at least the 2nd century and was the dominant view of the church for at least the first 4 centuries. So this isn't a New Age doctrine or anything silly like that. This goes back to the early Christian church. God bless. Thanks for listening.